Lansborough isn't that, it's rotting. The spores cling to everything since the explosions. Stop signs furred with black rings, swings sagging beneath the soft grey blotches. Tree stumps oozing with circles that breathe if you stare too long. They call it narcotic bacteria. Touch it and your skin darkens like coal. I've seen men claw themselves bloody as it eats through them, screaming until their throat gives out. The air tastes like rust and mold, a sour film that coats my tongue. I keep my collar tight across my mouth and I don't look when the spores quiver as if they're alive. People say the fungus came after the bombs, that the blast cracked opened something beneath my city. Maybe all I know is what's in front of me. My name is Elizabeth. I'm one of the few who can still walk the city without losing my mind for now. At night I return to what's left of a nightclub. It's pitch black inside. The mirrors cracked, the floor sticky with decades-old liquor, but it's shelter. And it's where the last of us gather. We laugh when we can, whisper when the spores grow restless outside. We make the best of it, but even in the dark, we don't all trust each other. It was one of those grey, sunless days when it happened. The clouds pressed us so heavy on the city that the air itself seemed thicker, harder to breathe. I was walking through the ruins of the park, weaving between broken benches and rusted playgrounds, when my boots slipped. My leg scraped against the metal pole of the old swing. You know that feeling when time slows? Every second dragging out longer than it should? That's how it was. My stomach lurched, panic rushed like fire up my throat, and in that endless stretch of slow motion, I understood. I had done something I could not undo. I hit the ground hard, my body sinking into the grey dust that has once been grass. For a second, I lay there, staring in disbelief. I had been so careful all these years, always cautious, always alert, and now this. The spores dug instantly, not a speck, not a dusting, but a whole mass, a bloom the size of my palm. Black and grey rings with veins of sickly white clustered together. Their ragged edges uneven, pressing wetly into my skin. They pulsed irregularly, like breath, and the first sight of them made my stomach turn. At the first glance, they seemed inert, like mold on a wall, but I felt them. A current of energy thrummed into my flesh, subtle but undeniable. It wasn't energy of life. It was heavier, darker, as if something demonic has latched onto me. Then the pain struck, a shard of glass twisting into my leg, burning deeper with every heartbeat. My skin blackened beneath the bloom, dark coal spreading in my jagged rivers, and I screamed. I staggered to my feet and ran through the maze of blackened walls, the ruined streets I knew better than my own hands. I pushed myself towards the nightclub. My leg throbbed with every step, every movement, a reminder that time was running out. When I burst inside, 4 of our people were huddled in discussion, murmuring about how to stretch out what little food we had left. Their faces lifted, startled, and then tightened when they saw mine. Tear-streaked, frantic, they rushed towards me. "Stay back!" I shouted, my voice cracking. My arms flew out, warding off. They stopped. Silence filled the room, thick as tar. They knew. They saw the way I limped, the way I clutched my leg. It was too late. The air shifted, heavy with pity, the kind of that says more than words ever could. I shoved past them down the narrow hallway to the black room, Melissa's room. She had made it her own over the past year, cluttering the cracked walls and warped shelves with jars of dried leaves, bottles of cloudy liquids, powders wrapped in scraps of cloth. Bundles of herb hung from the rafters, shriveled and brown, dripping dust instead of fragrance. A broken vanity mirror leaned in one corner, its the surface smeared with fingerprints and dried tinctures. The place always smelled strange, part bitter molds, part old perfume, part smoke. If there was any hope of help, it had to be there. "Melissa!" I screamed, stumbling into the doorway. "Please, help me." She didn't turn. She was bent over her table, arranging her bottles, her long hair falling like a curtain around her face. For a heartbeat, I thought maybe she hadn't heard me, but then I saw the stiffness in her shoulders, the way her hands moved faster, determined to not acknowledge me. "Melissa!" My voice tore itself raw. Finally, she glanced up. Her eyes flicked over me, my trembling hands, my ruined leg, and then just as quickly slid away. She returned to her work. She didn't even try to pretend. It was a blade driven into me. Once before the bombs, she had been a famous influencer, a face on a screen, a voice in people's phones. That selfish shine was always still there, even in this ruin. And now it meant she wouldn't lift a finger to save me. I stood there, shaking, before finally stepping back, the truth burning hotter than the spores eating my flesh. I was alone. Still, I whispered to myself as I limped away. Every illness has a cure. I had to. It just had to. I repeated again. Every illness had a cure. Even louder this time, as volume would make it through. Every illness has a cure. But even as I said it, I knew. We had no science, no proper medical equipment, or the time and space to focus onto that. We barely survived day to day. There were no cures anymore. The spores crawled up higher, my skin darkening, the pain spreading in waves. Panic built like a storm inside me, my chest tightening, breath shortening. Even every thought crushed under the weight of the ticking clock. My time was short, unbearably short, and the pressure of it made every second feel like a blade at my throat. And yet, I refused to let go. I had to find a way. Somehow, the spores crawled higher. My pain, my skin darkening, that was when I felt it. The bloom on my legs pulsed, not just with pain, but with a rhythm, a steady, throbbing beat like a heart. Not mine, no, it was something else. Something was inside it, for sure. The circles seemed to ripple beneath my skin, shifting. I froze, staring, and for a moment I could have sworn I saw the edges of the spores forming patterns, shapes that I shouldn't have made sense. They weren't random, they were deliberate. Whispers bled into my ears, too faint to catch words, but heavy with intent, like an old language, older than breath itself. The room tilted, my knees buckled, and as I clutched to the doorway, fighting to stay upright, I realized with horror that the spores weren't just eating me, they were communicating. The whispers grew louder, threading through my veins, beating in the rhythm with the thing that they had taken root inside me. I knew I only had two choices. I could take a knife, press it against my own flesh, and carve the spores out. It would be agony, blood, and screams, but maybe, just maybe, I could cut the infection before it reached my heart. Or I could seek her, the old woman they whisper about in the ruins beyond the river, a grandmother older than the city itself, with eyes that see cures and curses for what they are, a healer or a witch. No one knows for sure, but to reach her, I have to pass through streets and breathe danger with every step. Two paths, no guarantee either one saves me. So, what should Elizabeth do next? Option 1, take the knife, cut the spores out myself. Option 2, journey to the old grandmother who holds forbidden knowledge. Vote in the comments below, and if this video gets more than 10 likes, I will make part 2. But before we part ways, I want to share you that this story was a very vivid nightmare of mine. When I woke up, drenched in sweat, overheated, and I had to come back to reality around 3 o'clock in the midnight. I couldn't let this story go. Something about it was so captivating to me that I had to share it with you all. I hope you enjoyed, and if you like more homemade stories, I would love to know it in the comments down below or in our Telegram community. The linky in the description, of course. I will read every comment with a lot of enthusiasm, as I cannot wait to see if you're as excited as me about this story. And take care of your heart, sweet gentle soul. Until the next one.